Yahoo.
Yo, Prof here. A moose. Do you see that though? It focuses on you.
Yeah, because
You put the green box around your face.
It knows the star of the show. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, Squeers could be in that back corner, right? And I could be right here, and it would be like, see, Squeers over there. That guy. Well, guys, we have another mouse from Roccat. I don't know if it's going to... And yes, I actually had to correct another guy at work. He's like, that's Roccat? I'm like, yep, it's Roccat. Not Roccat, Roccat. Correct if I'm wrong, Roccat, but I'm pretty sure I've been corrected on that by you before.
Roccat.
But we have last time we had the the Kone Pro Air, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, the Kone XD.
It was the Kone Pro Air XP. I thought. Oh wait.
No, the wired one.
The wired? Oh yeah, no, it was the Kone. Okay, it was the Kone Pro XP. That's what it was.
Great opening. We're doing good. This time we have the Burst Pro Air.
For some reason I thought it was wireless and lightweight, but it is not.
No, that was the one before that one. They didn't send that one over.
The Kone Pro XP.
So it's focused down at that time, but we finally have the Burst Pro Air. It got a bit lost. They resent it. So, huzzah!
It's arrived.
That's why we waited a bit longer, and I got it in white, because I thought this one looked pretty good in white. Oh, we have a cat. Here, guys, we have. Here's our comparisons. We have oh no.
Okay.
So we have the Kone Burst Pro Air. Here, that King ran off with. We'll have its comparison, which is the Kone Burst Pro wired version. I think all of us have reviewed this one favorably.
I currently use one of these, actually.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I think, didn't you use one of ours and you're like, that's pretty good.
And I bought it.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's actually a very good mouse. And then I saw this was coming out, the Burst Pro Air, and I was very excited to hear about it, because mild concerns with the Kone Pro Air being a little not so great in my opinion. But this could be like...
from my understanding, it's this with batteries in it.
If it's the same thing?
Oh, but they did make this white. Black?
Panda.
White. So...
Anyway, do you want to pop her open?
No,
or do
we gotta go over the box.
Ah, you're right.
So, Kone Burst Pro Air. You got the Bluetooth.
Hmm?
Nom, 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 nom. That's actually not why it's called Bluetooth. But, I always thought that's why it was until I, learned about it. 2.5 gigahertz as well, so it's the wireless tech and Bluetooth. That's nice. You use the wireless for your desktop, you use the Bluetooth for your laptop.
Mm.
You know, that's how I would do it. We have Titan optical switch, which is just the actuation part of it is done optically. It's still the click is still mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm iffy on the opticals. I feel like they are less tactile than some of the mechanical. You know, like the GM 4.0s. You know, like the compared to this guy, because this is 4.0, isn't it? Like that's a Orochi V2.
Mm.
I don't know if that's a direct comparison to this one, but
It's similar.
Similar. Stellar Wireless. Why does everybody need to name it something? That's my question.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Stellar Wireless.
Having 2.5 gigahertz or 2.4 gigahertz is fine. Big brain move, guys. I know why they're 2.4 because Bluetooth is. But what if we used more gigahertz? Because theoretically, there's more bandwidth over that than even USB.
Mm.
Theoretically. Okay, so here we go. We got 81 grams.
Ooh, lightweight.
I would consider that fairly lightweight. Anything, in my opinion, under 100 grams is a lightish weight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 100 million clicks. That normally these would be what? Probably like 50 mil if they weren't optical.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say. 60.8 million. It's just RGB.
There's colors there.
19,000 DPI. I looked it up before we did this. I researched all of it. The previous one is 16,000.
Ooh.
So more DPIs.
If you're one of those 19,000 DPI gamers, we know a few of you.
If you're a Tad, there you go. You got more DPIs.
Or that one guy I found on Twitter that plays aim trainers.
My suggestion, guys, 3,200 or less. I run 400 generally for games. Used to run 800. 1600 is probably the max I'd recommend.
1 second, there's some technical specs down there. The Phantom Flex charging cable and some onboard memory.
Yep, it's just more stuff that we kind of race up. Because on this side, here you go. We got something that we do like. Heat-treated PTFE glides.
Ooh.
More slippy, last longer. It's not going to be like the the iconic Logitech feet that were kind of soft that were like real fast. That would have been like the 703, the 403, the original 502. Like little chunks came out of the original 502. Bad. Too soft. So then we have the Phantom charging cable. So I'm guessing...
Phantom Flex.
Phantom Flex. I'm guessing it's like the
Trademark.
paracord. You know, probably something similar to this, except a charging cable.
Let's check it out.
What else we got?
Oh.
AMO RGB.
Speaking of aim.
Oh, that's the AI RGB. We had good luck with that on the last mouse. But remember how much CPU it used?
a lot.
It looked pretty. It looked really pretty.
Didn't you want to mention the NVIDIA Reflex?
I don't think it's on the mouse, but yes. There's Stellar Wireless. Maybe it wasn't certified when the packaging was made? Because it does take a little bit to do that. But it is NVIDIA Reflex certified. So if you have a game that takes advantage of that, isn't COD Cold War one of those, I think?
I'm not too sure.
There's a bunch of them. I think COD Cold War is one of them. But especially if you got your G-Sync monitor, your NVIDIA Reflex certified mouse, you're getting about as low latency input as you can get into the game. So it's always a nice thing. Obviously, your mouse has to be certified and your game has to be certified in order to do that. You can also get some other accessories that are also NVIDIA certified. Some of the monitors that are specifically Reflex certified, you actually plug the mouse into the monitor. Does that seem weird? Like it has to go in the USB hub of the monitor?
That makes sense. Or
Yeah.
to a degree, but it's not like normal.
Bam. Okay. Yes, guys, the correct way to open these, if available, you poop it out the bottom.
The way to do it.
Then we don't have to deal with all the flappies. We got a manual.
Hello, Manuel. Goodbye, Manuel.
As always, Roccat, for the longest time, has been one of the few. What do? Even when it's not a wired mouse,
Pristine packaging.
they wrapped it around the outside.
I kind of mess with the colorway of just like the white, like
the
slightly
gray?
off gray.
Yeah. Here you go. Have a snack.
Silica packet.
Oh. Do you see this? They put a hole in the mouse for the receiver.
Oh my god.
You know how many mice over there can't do that?
A lot of them.
Here's
Is there a SteelSeries mouse that does that?
the Ghost. Technically,
yes.
you put it in the front. It gets an antenna. Then.
Technically.
Okay. Then you have the Gamesense MVP. They managed it.
Oh.
Okay. But the Superlight, the Katana, what is this thing called? Katana something Superlight? Ninjutso.
Ninjutso, oh yeah.
This thing is fucking light as.
That feels like a cheap mouse, but is actually surprisingly solid.
Yeah, it's like a brick. And then here's the Orochi, but annoyingly, how do you get to the doodle?
You take off the interchangeable shell.
Yep.
5 out of 10.
Great laptop mouse.
Yeah, no, that is exclusively what I would use it for.
And this one we use for PC setups down here. Yeah. So. Oh. There we go. Let's get the cable out right away, just to get it out of the way. Yeah.
Show me that Phantom Flex cable, please.
Trying to get the receiver out. I feel like this was a little bit. This is a different material than we've seen in the past one. Okay.
How so?
Like it's like.
Oh, the plastic. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the mouse. I was like,
No,
dang.
no. Okay, that's just a friction fit in there, which is fine. Okay, no problem with that. I think the Gamesense is actually like magnet. You can feel it kind of like suck it in a little bit. Very similar bottoms. Yeah. I do like this where it's up for one, down for the other. Some of them. All right, props back in the camera seat here. Cardboard? Nah.
Yeet. Let me get the cable out. Oh, it's out. Insane. Let's take a look. Investigating.
Are they reusable? No.
Well, technically, yes.
I don't consider that reusable. Because it doesn't stay on the cable.
You're right. It does just kind of come off the cable.
You know who does that as well? Razer. Guys, if you can make it... Okay, we only need one, right? We only need one. And then have it so it can stay on the cable.
I mean, what's stopping...
You can't loop it again.
Oh, you're right.
You can loop it once. It needs the double loop.
So I feed this through once.
And then it's got and then, yeah, see? Imagine that's on the cable.
It's difficult to double loop it then.
It's impossible to double loop it.
No, it's not impossible. Look, I just double looped it. There you go.
But there's no cable in there.
Let's deal with the cable now. Let me, perhaps.
Well,
I'm trying to
I'm gonna
defend
pause the recording while you try to do that, because... Alright, so Mooski over here proved me wrong. It's doable.
Okay. I noted that there was a smaller slot. First slot and second slot are separated enough that you would maybe wrap it, and then you can get the other slots for the full wrap.
But what did you call it? You defined it as not easy.
Yeah, it was not easy.
Also, you'd think if this was how it was intended, it would come that way.
I think if you guys just have something designed like this
From the get-go?
and on the, like...
Yeah, and then, you know... And then
it's easier to wrap then, because then you would actually have this tag farther out. So I could actually wrap onto it.
Yeah, a lot of some other brands we see have a bigger, taller nub, you know, with a longer loop.
To be fair,
it's not a big thing, guys.
it's a wireless mouse.
Yeah, so what you do is you take this cable that's actually pretty nice. It feels very similar to, you know, the one on the wired one, right? What you do, because it's Type C, and we all have Type C chargers. Go like that.
Don't worry about it.
Because, it's recessed. We'll have to test some other cables. That looks pretty big, though.
We can test the cable. Are we going to go grab the Pixel cable?
Which one's the really bad one?
I thought it was one of the... I thought it was like one of the Razer ones. The Razer Viper?
The Legend uses micro B.
I'm not sure then. It wouldn't be the Kone.
It's the SteelSeries Prime.
Do you want me to go grab that real quick?
No, because no cable fits in there. Apple. You know which cable fits in the SteelSeries Prime, guys? The Apple Type-C cable. Because you know what? Apple makes Type-C cables.
Are they good? Yeah, that's about my answer too.
Alright, let's take a look at this bad boy. To me, what we got, you want to give it the peels right there?
Absolutely. Let's
Show us those fire-tempered, hardened PTFE.
These come off extremely easy. I had no issues.
Oh, and you know what I like about Roccat? You do a good job. You make them blue. I know blue's your color. But then I can actually tell they're on there. You know how many mouse companies I've had where, like, until I use the mouse and I realize, wow, that's, like, not very slidey. And I look.
My MM710.
When you brought it over here, it still is on there?
I used it for about 2 months with the like plastic on the bottom of it, and then I was like, I looked at the bottom of it, I was like, why is there a tag on it? There's plastic on there. Oh, there's plastic
and you're like,
on there.
Oh, it's way more slidey.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is a great mouse now.
So to me, in my hand, this feels like a Burst Pro. I know that's probably surprising because it's a Burst Pro.
It is, yeah, if you've used this one, actually the texture is a little, the texture on the side is completely different, it feels like.
I mean, it looks the same.
It looks the same, but I feel like it feels different.
Maybe mine's just worn out because I actually used that one quite a bit. So what do you think, Panda or Gray?
I might be more of a Panda guy.
Me too.
But
I have a feeling for the RGB, because remember, just as a heads up, guys, one of what Roccat considers a feature is RGB. They even have AI-powered RGB. We showed it off in the previous Kone XP, I think XP video. And that's part of the reason why I got these in white, because I think the Burst Pro looks smart in white. Now, what this, though, has always made me want to do, if you guys have seen the marketing from this mouse, they showed in full clear. I'm just saying, SteelSeries got there first. Like,
The clear white colorway is very, very nice.
like you can see how that could have easily been that.
Is the white of the shell like a different color too?
That might be your eyes tricking you. You'd have to cover up the side buttons. Like as in the contrast between the black and the white. That looks the same to me.
These look slightly different. Like one looks slightly less white. I think this one just looks newer anyways.
But yeah, okay, like to be truthful, this looked more white once you cover up the buttons, right? But now that they're both uncovered, that looks more white. And that's only because it's next to something that's more contrast.
I still thought this was more white altogether. And like the print. Here's
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
It's not a silver.
Yeah, it's silver here, and here it's a black. Well, this has got more design cues from the Kone XP and the, what do you want to call it? What's the other one? The, not the Kone Air Pro?
Kone Pro Air?
Kone Pro Air. Not build quality. I will say, this thing inherited its build quality from the original Burst, which is great.
The weight balancing is very different though.
Yeah.
Squares,
yeah. So remember, this came in a bit late. Squares already bought one. He bought it in white because I've converted him.
White's a good color.
Very few mice do I prefer in not white. But it is very much more tush, rumpus heavy.
Good words.
The buttocks. So if you grab it here in the middle, you can feel like, if you grab it where your thumb is supposed to go, by the thumb buttons. Some people don't. Whereas on the, and I think this is what helps the Burst Pro feel nimble, most of the weight is forward. Right?
I think it feels it's like I feel like it's a very balanced mouse.
Yeah. That's because most of the weight is actually forward. See? A lot of the, and that feels tush heavy. I'm guessing because 68 to 81, I'm guessing all that weight went in its rear end.
I'm trying to lean the mouse forward, it's like not.
Yeah, and it's because they cut out this receiver, and there's probably a chunky battery in there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's bad. It's still sub 100 grams. If you're used to this one, though, which side by side, this feels more nimble. Just move it around.
Yeah, like this is noticeably lighter.
This has like
some heft to
I
it.
feel like, not even just because of the weight, though, but like where the weight is makes this feel more... Because here, even if we get... I don't know what the Rival 106 weighs. We have a scale behind us. We could test that. But I feel like the Burst Pro feels more nimble than the 106. Just because it's a more fingertip palm mouse. What I mean by fingertip palm, guys, is you're still palm it, right? But you're kind of pinching with your fingertips. Right? And because the weight's more forward, that makes it more nimble. Compared to the 106, which is kind of like a full-on palm mouse. Like you just fucking palm that guy. Right? But all the weight's more centralized. I mean, like, I don't know if you feel that, but try it between those two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't think that's bad. I feel like the 106 is more for a full arm palm player, and like the Burst Pro might be more for like somebody who might use more wrist.
I am very much an arm guy, but I still use this mouse.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, this feels quite a bit more nimble to me because the weight's lighter and more forward.
That one feels more fingertip heavy.
Well, I kind of did screw up the weight by gutting half of it,
I don't know if it's a fair comparison then.
Yeah.
I don't think most people are going to run into that mouse.
Yeah, I just like the 106, guys. Like 106 is top tier mouse. Maybe not top tier sensor, but shape.
Mold, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
But yes, no. I want to say the Burst Pro is a little slippier. The wireless is a bit slippier on the sides. That might be because this guy, like, legitimately, if you guys are wondering, the standard Burst Pro non-air, this was on my desk for quite a while. Like, I legitimately played probably for a better part of a month, if not more, with this mouse. And it stayed on my desk for a while as a reference to other mice. I would say if you already have a Burst Pro and enjoy it, though, maybe don't go to the Pro Air, because it is that heavier. You gotta weigh that. Do you prefer wireless over weight? You know what I mean? Get yourself a nice mouse bungee. I don't know. I probably might go with the non-wireless, but you know, or say if you're somebody who is in a dorm room regularly takes their laptop out and you want to bring your mouse with you, I don't want to wire on that, right? I don't want to wire with that, you know. Or if you use, because I do know some people who double their PC. I used to, in this very room. See this room? This used to be not only my bedroom, but also the home theater room and everything. I used to double my computer as my desktop and my home theater PC. So as wireless, it'd be nice to be able to bring it up there and just use it, you know, on the TV. You know, instead of just, it depends on what your use cases are. Do you value the weight and the quick nimble of this? Squares would say he thinks that's better because of that. And I would say as an FPS mouse, that's probably better. But this is just a nice shape all around, too. Like if you guys are wondering, in preparation for this review, this mouse came to work with me today. And I used it all day prior to this review, this one. And that was after using that guy for a couple of days because, you know, I might as well bring it with me. And, you know, I was at home again at work. And for those wondering, my daily is that shape. It's not that mouse. I use a Rival 3 wireless, which is quite a bit heavier. For day-to-day use, I don't mind that additional weight. You know, like desktoping. I don't know. What would you say if you main FPS?
It kind of comes down to if you want to wire or not.
Yep.
It's like the weight difference, or like if you want a lighter mouse and don't mind a wire, go for this. If you don't mind a weight and want something wireless, this is the way to go. They're both great.
$60?
Oh, it's 35. You said.
Currently 35. That is a slapper of a deal right there.
Highly recommend.
I do have a code. Insert code here.
It's on the screen.
It's like the Tech Exchange or something.
You see it? I hope you did.
Okay.
Beep
boop beep boop beep boop beep.
We're looking into it. Regardless.
Boop boop beep boop boop beep.
I feel like the side buttons feel a little different. I don't know if they changed them. They're definitely side buttons. Doesn't that sound very different?
I gotta watch my own video to find. Okay, our code is, if you go to our previous video, most RGB best gaming mouse. It is G10-the_tech_exchange. Right there. So, there you go. You get 10% off a $35 mouse, or the new one is 100 schmackaroonies. Which, for a modern wireless, is not bad.
That sounds and feels different.
Yep.
It definitely does feel very different.
These are better.
I like these more on the wireless one.
Really?
I like the
less travel.
I like the forced tactility that you need for it.
I feel like those might be the buttons, micro switches, and these might be real switches. So, if you like the Aerox 3 or Rival 3, check out the Burst Pro, and especially if you got wireless, you know, the new Burst Pro is. What I was saying when I dropped this is, I think these things could be like fucking relatives. You know, like with their like gray and white and clear kind of vibes going on. You know, like cousins at least.
Mm.
You know, so what next closest shape is probably this guy. This is the Gamesense MVP Wireless. Also wireless, right? This shape is based on the IntelliMouse Wheel Mouse Optical. The Microsoft Wheel Mouse Optical, which is the cheaper version of the IntelliMouse Optical. This shape, you feel it even higher front on it.
Oh yeah.
But back very similar, I would say, to the Burst. It's
I wouldn't say that.
shape wise, maybe not height wise. You know, and if you're running these two, and here is the what is this Ninjutso Katana Ultralight. Okay, this is based on the IntelliMouse Optical, which we actually have right behind us over there, like an OG one. And this really shows where I like mice, because when you go and grab the venerable Rival 106, that none of you know is venerable because you don't know the mouse. I'm just gonna say, put your hand on this guy, and put your hand on that guy.
Oh, similar.
Yeah, there's a lot there that's similar.
One just feels better.
I have a feeling. Put it on here too. You know, like I have a feeling the 106 is kind of like a like a mishmash of these two.
And then the kinks worked out.
Yeah. And then not sold to anybody outside of India and China. Or is it Indonesia and China? I don't know.
What?
What's .in? You guys can inform me of it. Okay, here's something where you can feel the weight difference. By the way, guys, the Ninjutso, this thing is just stupid lightweight.
That is like the lightest. You think it's going to weigh like 80 grams? It weighs like 40. It feels like.
It does have a sensor skip issue right now, though. So, where it just randomly jumps up or down. It's great.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I mean, this one's not heavy either. You know, like the Gamesense MVP.
Yeah, this thing is like picking up a feather, I swear.
Yeah. If you're wondering, guys, they made it lighter by not putting a Type-C port on it. You have this magnetic connector that I can never find a cable for. So
I don't like my mice being this light. That's the thing.
it's kind of scary. But the weird thing is it's so wide, so you don't really notice it as much because it's just like a wide boy.
Your hand's doing something, but you're not sure what.
Yeah. So here's kind of like if you guys you're going taller, a little bit lower on the MVP Wireless down to the Burst Pro, and then down from the Burst Pro, you're going to the Rival. Like that is literally like a
family right there.
You know, like these are all very similar shapes, guys. So if you use wheel mouse optical or something ambidextrous, and you think the front's a bit tall, or something like that, right? Maybe check out, like we were saying, this Burst Pro Wireless, because it's gonna fill your palm up with I don't know, I never measured. I think I have like around 18 centimeter hands. I don't remember what the exact size is. I don't know if that's really applicable. Like I feel like a lot of people trying to figure out what mouse they like before they actually use it. Guys, as always, just go to the freaking store and try them.
Oh yeah.
Like, go to your Best Buys. Go to your... If you got a Micro Center, you got a whole freaking row. Like, even Best Buy's got at least, what, half a row usually?
Mm.
Like, just put your hand on them. Or if you got a friend, and he's got a different mouse that's way different than you usually use, can be like, hey, can we just, like, swap for a week? Like, I just want to... And use it for, like, a solid week. Whether you're desktoping... desktoping... gaming, because I actually find like a lot of these I test because I use them throughout my entire day at work, and then I'll come home when I did have a working gaming computer, and use them there too. So, and I feel like you might like, I don't know about you, but I prefer a different mouse for like desktop use than I do for game use.
Yeah, no, when I was using the Kone XP,
yeah,
I found that being for what I do, which is FPS gaming primarily, I didn't really like it because it was too heavy. But when I was using it on a desktop or when I was like editing photos or using Photoshop, it felt great to just like have
Like
the
the
extra
bigger
media keys.
and the bigger, slightly bigger mouse. A lot of times I prefer a little bit bigger of a mouse when doing that, because you're not moving as fast. You don't need to be as nimble. So like that's the thing. I mean, people. What I just showed you the picture where I was like, oh, the new monitors came in, and what 2 different chats are like 9 mice on your desk. I'm not saying you guys go that far, okay? Not saying you go that far, but it's not uncommon to have a different mouse or 2. Or like some people I know would use a trackball and a mouse. I don't think that's too much different. You know what I mean? So something to consider, you know, and just try them out. Find people that have different ones. Or like even just swap the one you had with theirs. I mean, it's nice to have them side by side. You can try them out. You know, like if you can try them in person, do that too. But like keyboards, I always just say like 2 weeks of solid use till you know if it's like truly not for you. You know what I mean? Like, and we're talking like full, like every day you use that keyboard, and then you'll truly know. If, like you probably get away with it with a week. You know what I mean? But 2 weeks is what I'd recommend if you can do it. But I would say, like, still, like, say if you borrow this from a friend, give it a week, see if it's for you. You know, I can tell you, to be truthful, this after, I didn't make it through a whole day at work.
I wouldn't either.
That might happen to you too. You know, like, this might be your ultimate mouse, and you go and grab the 106 and be like, the fuck is this giant lumbering thing? You know? If anybody does need contacts to get one of these, let me know. I can hook you up. But otherwise, don't forget, we do have a code for this. It's through Roccat, so you get 10% off. Well, any of Rockat's mice. You know? I said Roccat once in there.
Roccat.
Yeah. But you get it's like G10-the_tech_exchange. I wish I would have done it the other way, because my website is the dash. You know, but hey, you 10% off, $100 mouse. It's $10 off. This guy right now, $35. I don't know how much longer that's gonna last.
Quite the deal.
But that is quite the deal. If I didn't already have one, like this, for $28 when I got it, I had to buy another one. Just because it's wireless. I feel like there's more uses for like little wireless mice that are. Because a lot of times little wireless mice are garbage.
Oh, like the Viper Mini. That wasn't for me.
What about the Death Adder Mini?
That wasn't for me. And I have small hands. It was not for me.
Like you thought the Viper Mini was small, and then I'm like, here's the Death Adder Mini.
The Death Adder Mini is like what the Mini's mini brother should have been.
Micro? Death Adder Micro?
Death Adder Micro. Yeah, no.
Oh, if you're wondering,
they like skipped. They're like, this is the mini version, smaller. Just like,
yeah, it's
no!
it's like you got your EC1, you got your EC2, and then they went to the EC4.
Like, there was a step missing that like would have been like the right Death Adder size, in my opinion.
For those wondering, the Death Adder Mini was not supposed to be a U.S. market mouse. That was supposed to be China only. But so many people imported it that they ended up releasing it here. And I really think once it released here, because the bulk of the people that wanted it had already imported it, like me. You know what I mean? And then any people left over kind of like picked it up. But like otherwise, I bet it did not sell past its initial launch. Because once like enthusiasts got a hold of it and were like, holy crap, it's small. It probably did sell.
I think I bought it. Because I was like, I like the Death Adder. I have small hands. That was a big mouse.
And
It's
you're like,
going to be like a little smaller, right? I returned it.
it's smaller than this, guys. I swear.
It's
smaller than, I swear it's smaller than the Orochi V2.
It's not good. I'm sorry. Razor, if you made like, I don't know what you'd call it. Mini Plus.
Mini Plus. Go back and rename the Mini Micro and then come up with the Mini V2.
The Mini V2.
Well, it's Death Adder V2 Mini V2. There we go.
Death Adder Wireless.
But yeah, guys, like I said, I rock this thing daily. Maybe this one's got to come to work with me. Work with me. I'll have to give it a
whirl.
Give it a whirl. Like I said, I used this one the whole day. The only thing I noticed right away, because I was using that for a couple days, the 106, is this guy feels, specifically the wired Burst Pro, so nimble. Especially because the weight's toward the front and it's fairly lightweight. You know what I mean? Notice that right away. I'm like, oh, especially if you were like a fingertipper, you know, like this. You know, you're moving more within your hand or with your wrist rather than your arm. Because I'm more of an arm.
I'm an arm guy. I'm an arm guy too.
Yeah, that's why I like a big moose pad.
I have a big moose pad.
Yeah. You got to get yourself one of those sky pads, man. Ooh.
Someday.
Yeah, Preston wants one too, and then he looks at the price and he's like, "Yeah, some other day."
I'm rocking my. I think I use Control Aqua Plus or something like that. Aqua Control Plus.
Aqua Control Plus. I don't know which one that is.
It's like a Chinese one. When I bought both of them, they were like $30 each, and the shipping was like another $26.
That's shipping. That's international shipping for you.
Yeah. I got the white one. Felt a little different. I used the black one. I use the black one now. That's it.
Well, if you want to borrow any Zoe pads, let me know because I think I got like 2 Zoe pads. I even got that blue one that everybody's like a bunch of pros are like, gotta have the blue one because it's like the printing is different on it or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's got like blue one's better, and they actually like put that back into production because so many pros are like, what'd you do? What? I've used that for like 10 years. No. Or whatever, and I'm like, what? I don't know.
Whatever.
What? Let us know. What do you think about this mouse? And what's your mouse pad? I'm gonna guess 95% of them use soft pads.
It's QCK.
Guess what I have at work right now? I have a QCK hard.
The hard one?
It's a hard mouse pad that's branded QCK.
Did you get that recently?
Yeah.
I remember you mentioning it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it.
For those that check out Twitter, at TheProfosist, for me personally, Mooskie's like at Mooski.
Mooski with 3 Y's. And then on Instagram, it's also different.
I don't know if you thought that one out. Or could you just not get the same thing on both?
I couldn't just get the 1 Y. I would get the 1 Y if I could.
Yeah, you gotta go track him down, fight him.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's another thing. I'm not gonna complain about it.
Well, guys, we're nearly out of battery. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any additional things, throw them down below.
Maybe we'll respond.
We will respond. Hopefully, we might have a follow-up. I'm going to be using this guy at work. Probably very similar to the wired version. Might send it over to Mooski to actually use gaming because...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We'll see if what happens for me soon. What I've been holding off on is I want to play Halo Infinite, but only once it has co-op. Has that happened yet?
Wasn't it supposed to be in April?
It's supposed to be in May. And I was like, oh, we'll play for my birthday, and my computer will be done for then. Wop, wop.
No, it's not happening. Anyway.
Well, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Yo.
Prof out.
Yeah. Prof out. Hopefully you enjoyed the video.
This is post-editing Mooski. We're going to be doing a little bit of a voiceover talking about some of my experience with the Roccat Burst Pro Air. The first one we did get, like the first test model from Roccat, did have some issues. It's very unusual. You would see dead spotting with it, and it would blue screen my computer randomly. I wasn't really too sure why that would happen. Sometimes it would be right as we'd plug it in. Sometimes it'd be like an hour later. I'm not too sure why it would do that, but luckily they were able to send us another model for us. We really appreciate that. But looking over it, we can see that the wireless works great. One big thing I noticed while I was using the Bluetooth, which I was just seeing how it would be if you would use it on like a laptop or something like that. Maybe you don't have the dongle anymore. It does run at like a lower hertz, so it does actually spin out if you do move the mouse too fast. This happens for multiple games, even on the desktop. Also, if you're like on a higher sensitivity and you don't move the mouse super quick, like over a long distance, it most likely won't spin out, so it may be fine, but it does feel a little slow for some reason. And the wired version, of course, works great. It's amazing. I do have a few clips for you guys, kind of some gameplay of Overwatch, some soldier clips, some tracking, some tracer, tracking, flicking, and a little bit of Jesse. So we can kind of see some flicking gameplay as well, which is surprisingly great, which I can show a clip of just me hitting headshots. It felt great in hand. overall, the Roccat Burst Pro has been a favorite mouse of mine for the past year. I've been just actively using it on and off, but by far it's probably the one I've used the most often. Other mice have been like in rotation have been the MM710 from Cooler Master and the MZ1 by Extrafy. Both great mice. I like the palm and shape overall of the Roccat Burst Pro the most. And with the new Burst Pro Air, it does weigh a little bit more. But I actually think I prefer the weight in the Burst Pro Air, even though it weighs a little bit more. It feels right. Most of the mice I've been using have been sub 60 grams. This one is 80? It's 88? Or it might be less than that, or 80. It's one of those. I don't have any complaints about it in particular. My gameplay has felt a little better with the weight. This is kind of how I feel about it. I've been very just unconfident with my aim as of, I think, the past 2 months. Then getting into this one, at some reason, same shape but just different weight, fixed some of my issues. I've never been really good at flicking, but I had like a good Jesse game where I was just really going to town on people. Everything just felt right. If you made it this far in the video, if you want to give us some like thoughts and feedback on kind of the video format, because it's a bit unusual for the text channel, I think me and Elliot would really appreciate hearing any of your thoughts, stuff you'd like to see. And if you have any comments or experience with the mice or the Roccat Burst Pro Air, tell us down in the comments. Enjoy.
Dead to rights. Easy. Hold up. Rest. Double. Oh, excuse me.